Hey all you crazy cats, Chris Stafford here, and I want to welcome everybody to the Max Show. And this is where we expose the massively abundant secrets of all successful entrepreneurs. That's Massive Abundance Exposed. And today we have the most outstanding individual, Mr. Ruble Chandy. Ruble has developed this program. It's really fascinating. It's called the 7 Secrets of Peak Performers. And basically what he has done is develop a program that essentially helps companies and helps entrepreneurs and individuals like 10x their income. Really, multiply their income times 10 in a short 13-month period. And a lot of it has to do with advanced psychology and neuroscience. It's really fascinating. So I'm really hoping that you enjoy the show. I can't wait to hear your comments about Ruble. He's just a great guy to talk to and probably one of the most intelligent guys that I've talked to in a really long time. But before we get started, make sure you check out maxbychris.com. Make sure you sign in, get some free goodies for yourself. And without further ado, let's get on with the show. Hello, everybody. I cannot believe it. I have got Ruble Chandy in the house. How are you doing, Ruble?
Excellent. How are you?
Great. I am great for having you here, man. This is going to be really exciting. Ruble, one of the things that I'm really super excited about is the fact that you have got this amazing program called the 7 Secrets of Peak Performers. And I really want to get into that so our listeners can understand a little bit about what that program is all about. But first, I thought it would be really interesting to find out a little bit about you. Give us a little bit of background.
Sure. For me, at the age of 21, I started a business. I started a construction business as soon as I finished my engineering, and I failed miserably. So I have this theory about failing. You need to try to fail early enough so that when you are in your 30s, you could be really successful.
I love it.
So I didn't want to fail, but I had no option but to fail. I failed miserably. I failed in 2 businesses, and I learned from that. And I used that experience to build businesses, exactly building businesses from scratch to $1 million in 13 months. And I moved to Kuwait. I did business internationally in different parts of the world. So that's my background. I am a civil engineer and I work on computers. And I have a different, I have an experience in different industries. So I collected all this experience, and came up with, some strategies that could help anyone in becoming a peak performer.
Excellent. Well, I was doing some research about you, and one of the things that I thought was fascinating is you've got this program called 7 Secrets of Peak Performers, and you have helped companies and entrepreneurs, all over the world make like $1 million in 12 months, I think is one of the things that you mentioned. And so I'm really fascinated.
13 months.
Say that again?
It's 13 months.
In 13 months. In 13 months. Great. Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about the 7 Secrets of Peak Performers. And I know that, Ruble, you are probably one of the smartest people I know on the planet. So I want to try to break it down for people. Maybe just give us a couple examples of, what your program is all about and what it means to people.
Absolutely. See, one of the questions that I started asking when I failed was, why am I not getting successful? There are like people across my street who are not as smart as I am, who are not as hardworking as I am. They become successful, and I'm not getting this, getting this success, in my life. And when I realized that, I started asking this question every day. I even ask this right now. What would be the secrets of a peak performer? What are the secrets of a peak performer? I kept on asking this question, and that evolved into peak performance, actually. 7 Secrets of Peak Performance. So one thing that I realized, if you think about the new changes that happened in neuroscience or new discoveries, if you call it that way, what happened was we realized that the emotions play a significant role in the success of the person. And there are like books like Emotional Intelligence or Social Intelligence and Mindsight and books like that. And when I looked into it, I realized that having a great reason is much important than anything else. Like if I looked at, when I interviewed a lot of peak performers, I realized that, having a solid, powerful emotional reason that gets into the core of their self, that really motivated them. So that became the first secret of peak performance.
It's almost like having a passion, like having an intense passion. Would that be the same thing?
Yeah, you could call it passion. Passion is part of it. That's more of a positive thing. For sometimes it might not be passion. In my case, it was frustration. I wanted to get out of what kind of mess I was in. For a lot of people, for some people it could be passion. Some people it could be a drive to achieve. For some people it could be simple frustration. I don't want to stay in the level of life that I live with. So they have this emotional pull. Like they have this emotional pull to achieve. Right. See, for example, we all want to be successful. We all want to make money. But what happens when the rubber touches the road? Do we take action? Whether we take action or not is determined by the state of mind you are in. So even if you are in a moderate state of mind, will you take action? You will take action no matter what if you have a solid reason. Right. So that brings us to the second point, which is live in ananda, which is a Sanskrit term. Basically, what it means is live in happiness. Okay, so essentially, you move from having a great reason to living in a happy life before you even become successful. A lot of people think that once I become successful, then I will be happy. What if you don't become successful? I mean, I'm not trying to be the pessimist here, but truthfully, if you set a goal to achieve $10 million, or earn $10 million a year, it might not happen in your lifetime. It's possible. But will you still enjoy the life? Yes, you should. You should be happy. And then you have two options. You have the option to be sad and pursue your goal, and be happy and pursue your goal. Which would give you more probability of being successful? Like as a sad person, if I try to sell something, you think people are going to buy? As a sad person, if I try to work in a company or start a company, will my employees be happy to work with me? So essentially, what I understood was we should have happiness first before you even become successful. Okay. So that's another thing. So I could go on and on. I have described the entire framework in detail for the viewers in my website, 7magicsecrets.com. Okay. And it has around 4 hours of training on how to move from where you are right now to a great peak performance state of mind and become a peak performer using the 7 secrets. So I'm strategically teaching them how to do that. Interesting.
So I just want to clarify that for all of our viewers. That is the 7magicsecrets.com, and that is the number 7. MagicSecrets.com. Definitely check that site out to get more information about this. I really want to, though, Ruble, I want to go back to the first step because you talk about something that I think is really powerful, and that is everybody having a mission and having this real strong mission to change, or reason, maybe I think is the word that you use, a real strong reason. But then you say something really interesting that I always talk about. You can have this strong reason, but then you mention that people have to have an action. They have to take action of some type. And, I run across so many different people that, have a real strong reason to make a change in their life or to start a business or to improve their business, but they don't take the action. So, you've consulted with so many people. What do you do or what do you say to people to sort of get them off their butt and get them to take that action if they've got that real compelling reason?
Absolutely. I want to touch on something else that before I come back to action, because third secret is overcoming roadblocks to success. And fourth secret is taking intelligent action. Why did I position overcoming roadblocks to success? Because even when people want to take action, if they have a conflicting belief in them, or if they have a conflicting emotion that is associated with success, then what happens is, even if they want to take action, they take some action, they scratch the surface and go back. Versus they need to overcome. So again, I'm teaching that entire details in my website, but I want to come back to you and answer your question regarding action. What do we need to do is, we should try to make, what I try to do is, I will make them to a small action. For example, what happens when we have, right now it's 2013 January, and then we have our New Year resolution. And what happens is, we will think, oh, maybe I need to have a better body. And then what people do is, from January 1st they'll be working out for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And by January 3rd, they're done.
Right.
So what should happen instead is spend 10 minutes, walking for the first day. And then spend 12 minutes walking and running for 2 minutes. And then spend 15 minutes, maybe 7 minutes you're walking and then 7 minutes you're running. And then build it step by step. For example, if a person became really obese, or something, he or she does not become obese in one day, right?
Right.
But we want to come back and be really healthy in one day.
Right. Yes.
We worked on the other side. We worked for years and years to achieve the obesity. Now we want to be healthy within one day. You understand what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
So the same thing happens to business. What happens is businesses, sometimes they lose their vision, and then they have all kind of, theories and things like that, but they build a habit of not taking action. It becomes a, kind of an intellectual discussion, academic discussion, I would say, and then they are not taking action. So what they need is, what is the one single small thing that you could do today to achieve your big goal?
Right. I love that.
That's the beginning, actually. And then we need to start building it. Did I answer your question?
No, absolutely, because that's something that is really consistent, I think. I don't know if you've ever heard of the concept of Kaizen, but basically it's, the road of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. And I think that's really sort of like the same kind of thing, and that's getting people to take small little steps so it doesn't seem so overwhelming to them. And I think that one of the things, I think that's a brilliant thing that you're teaching people, because I think one of the things that does also, it seems to me, is if you start taking those small steps, then they also build confidence. And they build confidence to take bigger steps and bigger changes. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. I really like that.
Thank you. That's why I want to add one point about action before we go to the next topic. Basically, even when we want to take an action, even if we decide to take an action, even if we decided to wake up at 5 o'clock to do our workout, we have this innate tendency, I want to snooze it, kind of snooze it for 10 more minutes, So we try to snooze our life, like we will be snoozing 10 minutes for 6 times, and then it keeps on moving. So how can we handle this postponing nature in ourselves?
Right.
Is again going back to secret number 1. For example, why must I take this action today? I said reasons comes first. So even for the action, you bring that framework. What you do is you bring that framework as a question, even if it's a small action. Why must I do it today? So the moment you think, these are my reasons, because I want to retire, I want to do this, I want to have this dream, I want to do it, so you do it. So every step of the process, when you do this Kaizen, every step of the process, we need to check what kind of reasons are associated with that action. And another thing is, if you move to secret number 5, which is enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. So what happens is, again, goes back to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs said, you should be passionate or enjoy what you're doing. Of course, I'm paraphrasing him, but you should really be passionate about what you're doing. If not, he says, the journey to success will be long and difficult, sometimes tiring. And you will not sustain the journey if you might not reach the destination if you don't enjoy the journey, which is secret number 5, by the way.
Right. That's very cool. It's like it's a marathon, not a sprint. Essentially, is what it is.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to interject there with a point there. Like, for example, when we go for vacation, did you ever have a vacation you did not enjoy the journey? You just enjoy the destination?
I just came back from one.
Yeah. So most of the time, what happens is we enjoy our journey as well as the destination.
I see.
At the moment, and in the journey of life, what people think is that since we are really goal-oriented, what happens is we will think, when I become a millionaire, I'll start enjoying the journey. When I become healthy, when my fat, body fat is like 20 or 18, I will start enjoying it at that time. When I have this thing, I will do this. So you are postponing the enjoyment too. So essentially, we are not rewarding ourselves enough in terms of achieving big things in our life. So again, the same way you enjoy the journey in a vacation, we need to enjoy the journey of life too. Just for a metaphor.
I love it. I love it. Now, going back to the second step, though, I don't quite understand, for all of us listening, I don't quite understand exactly if somebody, you have to be happy as part of this. There's got to be an inherent happiness is what I'm hearing. What happens if somebody's not really happy? What happens if they've got issues or problems? Or, I mean, how do you deal with that?
Awesome question. I love that. Good that you pointed that out, because people might be thinking, how can I be happy? Right now, there are a lot of research happening about happiness, and if you want to refer about positive psychology, you could learn a lot of things about that. But let me tell you my take on happiness. We cannot control what is happening in our life. We cannot control. It's not possible.
True.
It's beyond our control. But we could manage our state of mind. For example, for the viewers right now, think about happy experiences in your life. Chris, why don't you do that too with me?
Okay.
Think about something that was really happy. I mean, something that really made you happy.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, I have a question for you. You know, how often do you ask this question?
Rarely.
You see that? So, where is that happiness? Is it close by or far away?
Well, I can access it very quickly. So
at least you could access it quickly. But a lot of people who are sad or depressed, what happens is they don't remember happy memories enough. They don't remember successful memories enough because they got into this trap of failure or fear of failure or depression or sadness or being lonely, and then they stop remembering those experiences that make them happy. So let me come back to the question. Think about the happy experiences in your life.
Okay.
Think about one more happy experience in your life.
Okay.
What does that make you feel?
It makes me feel energized. It makes me feel alive. Happy. I mean, it makes me feel happy.
You feel happy already, right? People make this a complex subject. Like, for example, let me ask you a question. Before I ask you that question, if you were to, number your state of mind from 1 to 10, what was your number before I asked you this question?
Well, probably since I'm interviewing you and I'm so excited about this, I'd probably say like a 7.
And after I asked you this question, what is level?
Oh man, I'm like a 9 or 10.
You see that it's not me. I didn't do anything. I only asked one question. Remember about something that happened in your life.
Right.
I didn't create your experience. All I did was remember that and ask you how you feel about it. And what if you are asking this question every day in the morning when you wake up?
I love it. I mean, is this something that somebody could use? Like, for instance, one of the things that I'm always promoting and talking about is using a gratitude journal. And, really waking up in the morning and using a gratitude journal and really spending some time by yourself, thanking whoever, the universe, whatever, for all the things that you're grateful for. I mean, would that be something that would be a great time to employ this?
Absolutely. Let me add to it. Gratitude is good. It's part of the story. What gratitude does is, there are certain human needs that we all need to have. Like Abraham Maslow said, we need to have security. So when you're grateful, this would be really new. This could be new for your audience. And I don't know, you might have heard of this, but what happens is when you're grateful, what happens is you reaffirm your existence in nature, because essentially you are being grateful to nature in some way, because people are part of the nature. Nature or God. If you believe in God, you're being grateful to God, because when you say, oh, this person did this to me, thank you. So essentially you're thanking God or nature, if you don't believe in God.
Right.
So if you believe in God, you're thanking God. So what happens is you protect your security by thanking or doing the gratitude journal. Awesome thing to do. I do this every day. I don't write it down, but I ask this question every day. Who am I grateful to? What am I grateful for? Not only that, you need to ask the question, what do I feel about it? Because that's where you feel in yourself. Like just by asking, what am I grateful for? Good. I have a list of 12 things. How does that help you as a person? It helps you only when you ask the question, what does that make me feel? It makes me feel that I'm a grateful person, maybe. It makes me feel that I'm secure sometimes.
Sacred, right.
So that's part of the picture. That's part of the picture. The same way, you should ask questions like, what are the happy, remember the happy experiences in my life. Let me tell you a secret. Something that I do every day.
Yes.
Over the last 4 years, the moment I became successful, from then every day I ask this question. Or actually, what are the 7 happy experiences in my life? So every day in the morning, I have a song that I listen to where I would be flashing all the 7 things, 7 great things that happen in my life every day. So what happens is it becomes a part of my identity. Meaning, I remember about, even if, like, for example, if some of your viewers have bad parental relationships or non-secure parental relationship, you remember that. But every day, if you keep on doing this thing for a long time, at least for 30 days, what will happen is, when you think about your childhood, the first thing that you remember will be that great experience that you had. This is what I call as success memory management. It's a technique that I developed. You remember your success again and again and again, so that you feel like, oh, I'm successful here, I'm successful here, I'm here, oh, I did this, I was happy there. So again, you become, a person who's really happy, to start with in the morning. Think about the way you would be going to your office with such a magnificent happiness, thinking that, oh, I'm successful in these many areas. Again, I'm teaching all this stuff in more detail in my website. There are certain things that I could cover. I will respect your time. So, is that helpful?
No, that is great. That is great, because I think what you're talking, success memory management, it's like, especially when you're doing that first thing, it's really setting the tone for your day. It's really, that is amazing. That is awesome. Do me a favor. Break it down for us, the 7 steps. Just give me the titles of all the 7 steps for our viewers.
Absolutely. So again, reasons comes first.
Okay.
So what are your reasons? I mean, if you don't have reasons, your goal is not strong enough. So reasons comes first. 2, live in Ananda. Live in Ananda, like, for example, Ananda means state of bliss. It's a Sanskrit word. And being in happiness, stay in a state of bliss most of the time.
I love that.
I want to elaborate a little bit on that after I explain.
Okay, I'll bring you back to that.
Yeah, we will come back. And 3 is overcome limiting beliefs. Overcome roadblocks to success.
Okay.
Mostly those are limiting beliefs. And once you know what you want, once you reposition yourself to happiness, and once you overcame the limiting beliefs or roadblocks, then you need to take action. I mean, it's not going to help you if you don't take action. Same thing that you said. Once you start taking action, it gets boring sometimes. You get tired. You could get beaten up. You will fall down. That's why you need to enjoy your journey. Secret number 5.
Number 5 is enjoy your journey. Okay.
And once you start enjoying your journey, and you will reach the destination, right?
Right.
So once you reach the destination, celebrate your victory, which is secret number 6.
Celebrate your victory. Love it.
Cool. And then what happens is, once you celebrate your victory, sometimes what happens to people like you and I who are already successful in certain levels, we feel like asking, do I deserve this? So you need to deserve your success. How do you deserve your success? How does you tell your brain that you deserve? Chris, you deserve your massive success.
It, right.
Ruble, you deserve your massive success by buying happiness with money. You might have heard this phrase, money can't buy you happiness.
Correct.
I'm telling you, money can buy you happiness.
I love you, Ruble.
How is that possible? How do you buy happiness with money? By giving. Like,
so it has nothing to do with going to buy a BMW.
You can do that too.
Right.
That's part of it. For example, 2 parts to it. Buying happiness could be, there are 2 parts to buying happiness. You could buy happiness that are pleasurable, BMW, yes.
Sure.
But that pleasure will not be felt inside your heart
Yes.
unless and until you heal.
Mm-hmm.
So Marty Seligman, one of the famous, actually he was the president of American Psychological Association. He did a research, and he found out there are three things, three things that makes people happy. One, engagement. Again, engagement. Engage into something. Flow, if you want to call it. There is a book called Flow. Yeah. So flow or engagement will make you happy. Two, meaning will make you happy. Okay. And the third thing is pleasure, of course. It will help you to become happy. So his paradigm, I love his paradigm, his metaphor, is a cake with chocolate and vanilla and then icing in between them.
Yes.
So meaning is the chocolate and engagement is the vanilla.
Got it.
And pleasure is the icing. If you keep on eating the icing for the rest of your life, you'll get bored.
Right.
Tired, you will feel like dizzy. So just by getting icing is not going to help you. The BMW will make you happy when you have meaning in your life and when you have engagement in your life.
I love that. That's a great metaphor.
Money can buy you happiness.
I love it. So those are the 7 steps. Very good. Very good. Now you wanted to come back to step number 2 about the happiness, which again I'm still intrigued by. You wanted to make a point about that?
Okay. Yes. So we as human beings, we have 60,000 thoughts a day.
Wow.
Can you guess how many of your thoughts from yesterday is carried forward to the next day?
In my case, it's probably 1.
For an average human being, in the 60,000 thoughts, if they thought about something 60,000, if they had 60,000 thoughts yesterday, today they will have 60,000 thoughts,
right.
Of which today's and yesterday, if you check, if you cross match it, 58,000 thoughts are the same.
Are the same.
Yeah. They think the same thing. They ask the same question, they get the same answer.
Lovely. Definition of insanity, sort of.
So what happens to us is we become a biological machine that produces the same ink, using the same ink and same paper, we bring the same reality into our life. And then we try to visualize. But even when we visualize, what happens is, even it's not working because we are producing the same ink and same paper. Everything's same. So we are not going to the next level because we have the same thoughts. So the essential question is, how do you change yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So what happens is, if you change your thoughts, the only way to change your thoughts is by asking new questions. Because thoughts are essentially questions and answers. Okay. So for example, every moment of your existence, you're asking this question. What does this mean? But even when I'm talking, you're thinking, what does this mean? What do I do? Or what is the next question that I'm going to ask you? So what does this mean is a question.
Right.
Okay, and then what do I do is another question. So every moment you are asking the same question. So again, when I ask you this question, think about, tell me about the happy experience of your life. When I ask you that question, you started thinking, what are the happy experiences?
Right.
Which you said you rarely think. Correct? So we need to purposefully, Einstein, I know Einstein is considered to be a genius. I'm not going to bring relativity into this.
Yeah.
But one point, Einstein asked this different question. He saw a train is traveling. If a train travels with the speed of light in that direction, and another train is traveling in the speed of light in the other direction, can the person sitting in this train can see the person on the other train? We don't need to answer the question, but my point is, he asked a different question.
Right.
Newton, on the other hand, everyone thought apple fall down. That's natural, right? Newton was the only guy who compiled this question. Why is it falling down? Question.
So this really goes to the questions that we're asking ourselves each day. What we can really do is change our state of mind, really, by changing the nature of the questions we're asking each other.
Absolutely.
And
we could definitely do that.
Amazing.
We could definitely do that, and we always alter our state of mind intellectually or in terms of mind by asking questions. Always we do that. That's very powerful. Like for example, something bad happened to me. When I failed miserably in my business, what was the question that I asked? Why does this happen to me?
Wow.
And then they say, oh, I was unlucky. Why am I so unlucky? Next question.
Right.
So then I'm unlucky because I was born in India. Maybe because I was born in a country where I didn't have enough resources at that time. Why don't we have enough resources? You understand what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't end. It keeps on going in that direction.
Right.
Versus those are the questions that we naturally tend to ask. There is no bad, it's not bad to ask a question like that. But what I'm saying is, if you want to be a peak performer, you should ask the question that peak performers ask.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And these are the steps, these are the questions, and these are the steps in the program that you're using, really using neuroscience and advanced psychology, essentially, it sounds like, to get people to not only increase their production, increase their income. I mean, talking about 10x your income in 13 months. I mean, that's essentially what you did for yourself. This is amazing. I mean, this is truly amazing. And I know from what little research and from stories that I've heard that you have got some amazing stories of successes and how you work with people. And one of the questions I normally ask Ruble too is for considering that there are new entrepreneurs and current entrepreneurs that really, again, want to 10x, want to really increase their business. What's your biggest piece of advice, say, for new entrepreneurs? That's one of the questions I always ask, but I want to ask it in a little bit different way, and that is, when you're working with entrepreneurs and you're trying to get them to understand your program, what's the biggest hurdle, what's the biggest problem that you normally see with newer entrepreneurs in implementing your plan and making this thing work for them?
It's always, thank you for asking that question, that's very relevant. It's always overcoming roadblocks to success.
Roadblocks, which is step 3.
Yeah. So what happens is they want to implement this, and then on one dimension they want to grow. On the other dimension, they are thinking, oh, I will not have enough time to spend with my family, for example.
Right.
Or in one way, they want to be successful. And on the other hand, they want connection with the family, things like that. So the value is conflicting. Or somebody might have told them when they were young that you will not become successful. So they have this script inside of them. That is, every time they try to grow to the next level, something is pulling them back. They say, oh, I don't think you're going to become successful. So essentially what happens is their focus is altered. Their question has altered. They will ask questions like, what if I fail? See the change all of a sudden. The guy who really wanted to be successful, what happens to him is, all of a sudden, initially he started his business asking the question, how can I be successful? Why must I be successful? Versus, what if I fail? Something that happened to me when I was young. And then, what if I fail? What will happen to my family if I fail?
Right.
How do I feel when I fail? Okay, and what are other people going to say when I fail? Trapped.
Right.
Big time. You understand what I mean?
Right.
So, okay, is question answer for everything? No. But question will be a reflection of your thoughts. So that's an easy way to find out where you're going. And what happens is, if he has a belief that, for example, for entrepreneurs, if they have a belief that rich people are bad, what happens is, they want to become rich, but instead of their head, they think that, like, for example, that's a classic example I would like to say. If you see someone in a Mercedes 550 or an expensive Ferrari, what are you thinking when you see this guy?
He has a lot of money.
That's true, but some people, what they think is, I understand what you think, but some people, when they look at this guy, maybe he got this money in a bad way. So what does that mean about me if I think that way? It means that I think that rich people become rich by doing something bad. So it's an essential belief system inside of me that I'm thinking, although I want to be rich, although I want to be successful, although I want to buy my Ferrari, what I'm thinking is, if I become rich, I might become bad. So I will try a little bit and then stop my business and go home.
Wow.
Because I don't want to approach that. I don't want to, I don't want to be in front of my belief, because beliefs always determine. Please note this, viewers, if you are, when you're listening to this, you believe control the questions that you ask. For example, if you, let me ask you this question, here itself, I mean, you are the only person who I can experiment with, Chris. So I'm going to do it with you.
Ask me anything.
Okay. So here's the question. In your room, look for everything that is orange. I'll give you 20 seconds. Look for everything that is orange.
Okay, well, I see one thing right now.
Okay. So now I want you to close your eyes. Tell me, describe to me everything that is black.
That is black?
Yes.
This is like a trick question. Well, just because I know the room so well, I know that I think I have a black table somewhere in the room.
How about red?
Red. I'm sitting on a red chair.
You can open your eyes now, but if you look around, even in this room which you're familiar with, you can see more red and more black right now, right?
Oh yeah.
So essentially what happens is, when you start asking questions, you're eliminating all the possibilities. Because the moment I asked about orange, you started focusing on orange.
Right.
The moment I started doubting my business, my dream, the moment I started focusing, oh gosh, rich people are bad, I'm about to become rich, that's when I think, oh, I should step back, I should stop this thing. Something is wrong here. You understand what I mean?
Right.
So if you believe that you're focusing on orange, you should focus on orange, then you don't ask questions beyond that. So you will always be constrained to the beliefs that you have. You cannot even ask any question beyond your belief unless somebody helps you to do that. So how could I make $1 million, for example, in 1 year? If you don't believe that you could make $1 million in 1 year, you don't ask that question at all.
Right.
Because you will not ask that question. But if you ask Facebook or Google, they became one of the biggest companies in the world in less than 10 years. What I'm suggesting is, like if I were to tell you in 1999 that a company that searches, just doing only search, it's a site website that will allow you to search, will become a company worth $100 billion in 10 years, 0 to 100 billion in 10 years, you'd say, I'm insane, right? Because people did not believe that was possible.
Yes.
So once you unleash this belief, once you focus on, so answering your question, what is my message? Focus on what is possible. Focus on what is possible. The moment you see that you are distracted, somebody is, directing you, oh, the economy is getting bad, something is going to go wrong. Focus on what is possible.
Absolutely.
Because you got it. You started your business anyway. So whether the economy goes bad or good, you should survive, you should excel, you should produce, right? Focus on what is possible.
I love that. That is great, Ruble. That is very cool. And the biggest takeaway too that I'm taking right now, that I'm really processing, is the quality of the questions that you're asking yourself. And I really love that. That is amazing. As entrepreneurs, we should all be asking ourselves the right question. Now, if I'm not mistaken, too, you're coming out with a new CD audio program, DVD program, within the next 6 weeks. Is that it?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, I'm going to teach each of these strategies in a much detail. And I would teach each of these techniques, each of the 7 secrets in much detail, so that I'm going to break this entire framework into small pieces so that people can take small action,
I love that.
once a day, and then by the time they finish my 14-day program, they should be able to go to a immensely powerful level, and then by that time they will be conditioned to happiness. So something that I learned from people in Fiji, that we do a lot of research about happiness and things like that. People in Fiji, they're happy by default. They are happy. So what happens is, that's the state you're going to become if you consistently follow my process. That's the state of mind you are going to be in, and I will be teaching you how to approach these things using the most advanced neuroscience. I will not get into any technical neuroscience. I'll explain everything in a simple way that anyone can understand, and just for you to understand, because you deserve to understand what is happening inside of your brain in a simple way. If a neurologist try to explain that, it will be complicated. Since I don't have any background, I don't have any specialty, anything, other than what I have in engineering. So I will explain it in a simple way so that you understand this is what is happening to me. And then use that technique and associate that with the most advanced technique in psychology to come up with a simplified process. I mean, you will say, it's this simple? Yeah, it's that simple. But once you know this game, regardless of your education, of your color, or your age, you have this potential to grow to the next level and expand and reconnect with the laws that are greater public.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And you can do all that in a real simplified manner and save yourself the cost of airfare to Fiji. And be happy, happy, happy. I was just going to say, 7magicsecrets.com. That's where everybody needs to go to get more information on that.
Absolutely. And I will help you overcome this learning curve that I had to go through. I had to spend a decade of my life trying to figure out this stuff. And then I had to read hundreds and hundreds of books. Like anything that I have said today, it sounds so simple. I mean, I didn't tell you anything complicated. I didn't tell you any complicated theories.
It all makes sense.
But just that it's going to work.
That's great.
I mean, it could alter your state of mind just like that. It could help you to find reasons in your life. It could help you to focus on what is needed. It's so simple. What happens is, people are looking for complicated solutions sometimes.
And they're making it complicated.
I did the same thing. That's why it took me more than a decade to understand this. So I thought, I didn't have anyone to, give me a hand. Come on, Ruble, go ahead and come with me. Let me teach you how to do this.
Right.
I never had anyone like that. I had to spend like a decade of my life, to learn this process. So I'm going to help your viewers, if you would, to help you guys. Hey guys, this is what it is. See, I mean, if you want to go this other path and learn it for the next 10 years, I'm okay with that. But if you're a smart business owner, like I assume you are, to grow to the next level with simple effort and strategic guidance, and incorporating the most advanced technologies available in this 2013. Yeah, I'm your guy to do that.
I love it, Ruble. Ruble, this is amazing. I could talk to you for another hour and a half on this whole subject because I am fascinated. This is certainly near and dear to my own heart. So I encourage everybody to go to Ruble's website. I'll have it all in the show notes. Ruble, amazing time. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, Chris.
All right, my friends. You have a great night. We'll talk to you real soon.
You too. Thank you so much. Thanks for the time today.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining the show. Isn't Ruble fascinating? I just think that is a pretty fascinating subject. I mean, my biggest takeaway, as I mentioned in the show, is just the ability to ask yourself questions, and the quality and the nature of the questions that you ask yourself really can change your performance and how you think about things in the world, and especially as it relates to your business. This is why this guy is dramatically improving people's income and businesses all around the world. So hats off to Ruble. I really enjoyed that interview, and I hope that you did too. Do me a favor. Leave me some love below. Let me know what you thought about Ruble, what you think about the show. Leave some comments. And make sure you check out his website. Ruble's website, again, is the number 7, 7magicsecrets.com. So don't forget to check out my site, sign in for some free goodies again, and thank you very much. I really appreciate you joining me, and may massive abundance be yours.